said, "Now you will see a live stream, which is intended for children." And then he came onto the screen, and he started to talk, and he brought his friends with him to talk about this movie. Hello! Welcome back to the Teacup for One Alice in Wonderland movie marathon. It's week 2. My name is Matt, and I have 2 degrees. And today, we're talking about an absolutely terrifying fever dream adaptation of Alice in Wonderland from Czech filmmaker Švankmajer. I'm butchering it. I'm sorry to any of our Czech viewers. I'm not sure how many of you there are. I'm sure there are some. No, there aren't. But Alex doesn't think so. Let's bring in Alex.
Oh,
Alex,
hey.
I saw you shaking your head like, no.
There's no Czech people here. No.
Well, still.
Yeah.
Maybe one.
Maybe.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
We want to make this evergreen. We want to make this episode, last, stand the test of time. So.
Absolutely. And so we want to make sure that we're accurately pronouncing Czech names, Czech words.
Yeah.
I just want to keep it all in Czech.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey,
right?
Yes. Keep it in check, stay safe out there, kids.
Yeah. Exactly. So, Alex, welcome. So, I didn't think of an intro question for today. So tell me, Alex, favorite fever dream movie?
Oh, well, there's that one with the angels and it's sci-fi.
What's you think of Doctor Who?
No, not the Weeping Angels. Not the Weeping Angels. No. The it's not Babylon. It's like an old. It's like not Gattaca, of course, but it's like in the era. It's I don't know. It's probably like between the 60s and 80s, somewhere in there. It's this. It's got a funny name. I should. What is it? Like sci-fi angel movie. I
believe in you. You can do it.
Come on, give it to me. Not that. Not Legion. Anyway, I don't think I can do it right now. I'll look it up maybe throughout the episode.
Okay.
But it's this trippy old school movie that I saw once with Papa, and that's my pick. But in lieu of that, I don't know. Like Dune's pretty trippy.
Dune is pretty trippy.
Dune's pretty trippy, and it's one of my favorite films. So
good call.
Let's tune it up.
Exciting.
Like David Lynch's Dune. Let's be.
We know.
I don't want. We know, but there's some Gen Zers out there that are pretty. They're gonna be like, "Oh, I love Dune. Dune's so great. I saw it last year." It's
Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, no, Gen Z. You calm down, all right?
Timothy Chalamet.
You don't know.
No.
You don't know.
Timothy Chalamet. No.
All right.
Timothy Nolan. Anyway,
exactly.
I noticed that. Okay, this is weird. I'm seeing on my phone that we have comments, but they're not here on the side, so I can't pull them up. But the usual suspects are here. So even though I can't put your things on the screen, just know I see you, Sabrina, my cat, Eliza, my other cat, Martha, my mother.
I can see the
Vince.
Comments.
Oh, I can see the what? Like I can't see them in my little workspace, my stream.
Oh, like on the comment section, I can see 3 comments.
Yeah. I can't put them onto the screen.
Oh, well, if you cede power to me,
yes,
then maybe I could put them on the screen.
I don't think that's feasible, is it?
I don't know.
No, it's not.
You want to just try it out?
I can edit your name. I can edit mic settings, and I can kick you out. Those are my options.
You can't promote me to be king?
I can't promote you. No, it's not Zoom. It's not Zoom. Okay. Anyway, let's bring in our next guest. It's Lisa, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Lisa.
How's it going?
Good. How are you? Favorite Czech word, please.
I don't know any Czech.
Didn't you watch this movie?
I did, but I was not relying on my Czech knowledge. I was
checkmate.
I don't know, maybe whenever she said please.
Oh yeah, that's what she kept repeating. Yeah.
I was like, oh my god. It's so okay, so hold on. This is so funny. I'm reading a book all about languages. It's called Babel. It's like this dark academia novel, and it's with a bunch of translators from the 1800s in Oxford. Ooh. And the entire time I was watching this movie, I was like, the Czech language is just so interesting. If I feel like if I knew the Czech language, I would get so much more out of this movie. Even though there's little dialogue.
Talking. There was
I know. There's little dialogue, but I feel like the little dialogue that there is, it would, I don't know. I feel like my brain would be more satisfied if I knew a little bit of Czech.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. I thought I was torn between, first of all, I feel like it being in a language I didn't understand in some ways added to the trippiness of it and to the surrealistic element. Because like I understood the basics of what was happening, mostly by merit of me knowing the basic beats of Alice in Wonderland. But and also there were subtitles. So there was that. But even if there weren't subtitles, I know. Even if there weren't subtitles, though, I think it just the confusion and the lack of translation for me would have just enhanced the experience. I would have been really annoyed, but it would have enhanced the experience. What did Vince say? Oh yeah, I'm reading off my phone because so this is fun. I know, fun story. No, this is a good thing going forward overall. I have pro access to StreamYard now, which is why I'm able to put the cool little logo in the top corner that says Teacup for One Movie Club. But somehow in moving to pro, I guess something's not enabled, so I can't pull the comments up. So I'm going to read them from here. Vince said, this film was a depraved nightmare and unsettling glimpse into someone's sick and twisted vision of the world. It wasn't bad enough to hate and too unsettling to truly love. I like the scene with the pig.
I usually Vince and I watch the movies together. I did not watch the movie with him, and I hated the pig scenes so much. So that's very interesting to hear.
I keep forgetting the pig scene is a thing because it's not in the Disney Alice, but it's in like every other Alice movie for the most part. So when there's a pig scene, I remember, and I always think this is weird. We'll see next week.
Well, I mean, maybe we're jumping ahead in the conversation, but what was that whole pig scene? Like, I don't understand it.
Oh, well,
as opposed,
I'm gonna bring in Jeanette. Okay, Jeanette, welcome. Favorite pig, please. Favorite type of pig.
Favorite pig? Dang it! I had my favorite Czech word ready.
Oh, what's your favorite Czech word?
It's bílý králik.
And what does that mean?
It means white rabbit. I figured it out. I was like, what part of that phrase is white rabbit? My favorite pig. I mean, I don't know. Everybody likes Babe, right? That was a good one.
Yeah, Babe, Pig in the City.
No, Babe. No.
Yeah, but no, the deal with the pig. Again, this is me pretending that I know what I'm talking about. Well, full disclosure, I've never read Alice in Wonderland, but I've seen enough movies that you start to see similarities and just assume, okay, this must be from the book because they're all the same. So the pig scene, and we'll see this in a much more conventional way next week. The pig scene is a scene where Alice goes to a house and then the Duchess is there with this screaming, crying baby. The Duchess is actually the owner or the pet keeper of the Cheshire Cat. And that's where we first meet the Cheshire Cat because the cat is the Duchess's cat. And the Duchess is just going nuts, having a fight with her cook who's making soup. So they're like throwing pots and pans at each other, screaming, causing all kinds of a ruckus. The cat is just sitting in the background smiling, and the baby is in its carriage or in its crib crying because of all the chaos. So Alice is like, this isn't a safe place for a baby. Why is the cat grinning? Why is this cook screaming at the Duchess? So she takes the baby out of the house because she's scared for the safety. But then as soon as she leaves the house, the baby transforms into a pig. And then she has a line where she's like, it's a very ugly child or a very handsome pig. So
yeah, totally part of the book and one of the weirder parts of the book.
Yeah,
it is one of the parts of the book that I've never seen adapted in any things I've associated with Alice in Wonderland. So that's interesting. Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, now you know. I'm so excited for next week because I like over the past few days, just for fun in the background while I've been like furiously designing t-shirts to try to get a shirt for every Shakespeare play. That's a thing I'm doing. I'm trying to design one shirt per Shakespeare play before his birthday/death day next week so that I can do like a giant Shakespeare birthday sale. I'm like 23 or so in. Like I have 12 or 13 to go. But while I was doing that, I had a bunch of made-for-TV Alice in Wonderland and Alice Through the Looking Glass movies playing in the background. And yeah, the pig is kind of hit and miss. I also realized I much prefer Alice Through the Looking Glass, like the sequel. I think the sequel's more interesting because there's chess pieces. So there we go.
Yeah. I think I like a blending of the two, but I'm sure we'll get there eventually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, Jeanette, since you weren't with us last week, introductory question. Not. I know we missed you, but you were having magical fun. And always pick a Disney park over anything else for the most part. So, there we go. But, so introductory question that we asked last week was just give us a briefing on your relationship and history with Alice in Wonderland, like whether it be one specific movie, intro to the text, what it means to you now. Just what does Alice mean to Jeanette?
My first introduction was the Disney movie, and I didn't read the book until I think probably like my late teens, early 20s. Read it again a little bit later in adult life. I've watched many different adaptations. Wrote an adaptation in like high school composition.
Nice.
I also did a Peter Pan thing too. And
we did too.
Yeah.
Huh?
Matt and I also did a Peter Pan thing too.
Yeah. Like I think all of us just
kind of
run with that.
Peter
Yeah.
Pan.
So and then Alice to me is super important. I think it was I feel like in the late 90s, early 2000s, like the Alice in Wonderland aesthetic was very in with like the raver culture. So I thought that was super cool. So I latched onto that, like White on Rice. That was inspirational to me. And then just the story and the character. Like if I see Alice at Disney World, I will go wait in a half-hour line to meet Alice. And I won't do that for just about anybody else. Like I'll do it for like Jack Skellington and Alice and Tinkerbell. And that's about it.
Nice. So you've actually read the book. I love that. I was saying last week I tried as a youngster and it was too dense and confusing for me.
It was dense when I was younger, and then when I got older, it was great. Oh, and then also I think it's like inspirational to artists that I like too, like Marilyn Manson. It's highly influential to the story, right? Like the whole Lewis Carroll mystique and all of that. A few other artists as well, but like it's definitely played a role in the other things that I like.
Oh, I love that. So then kind of jumping to another thing that we kind of discussed last week, but I feel it's going to come circling back. But just to get your initial input, Jeanette, why do you think Alice in Wonderland remains popular with people? Because the intro to that question I had last week was, I don't know why. And like, I love it, but I don't know why I love it. If I break it down, I don't know what the appeal is because it makes literally no sense. But it seems like it has a depth to it at the same time. I don't know what it is. I don't know why I like Alice, but I love Alice.
I think Alice and Peter Pan, like I just brought up together, but I think they're intriguing for the same reason, and maybe even for the same reason that like the whole Figment Dreamfinder thing in the parks was appealing. An imaginary world attached to the real world by something allows you to let go, but then still be like, it's not totally imaginary. It's got this weird link with the real world that we find little hints of, right? Like Alice finds little hints of the real world. I mean, Wonderland in the real world. And the same thing with Neverland, like Peter interacts with the real world. So I think anytime you do that, that's very, very intriguing for anybody's mind, but especially a child's mind.
Well said. I mean, just looking at the date of when Alice was written, I think it might be one of the first more contemporary examples of like the fairy tale structure of normal kid, weird land that's kind of magic but kind of reflective of what we are in now. Like kind of it was pre-Neverland, pre-Oz, pre all of that. I feel like it's kind of an extension of trying to think of things that were earlier examples of that, and all I can think of is Shakespeare and Midsummer, which is kind of ish, but like at the same time it's not a direct parallel. It's just like here's a forest, it's in the real world but it's magic. But yeah, I think Alice was one of the first examples of that, and it's a thing that we have more and more now because everyone loves it. But let's talk about this version of Alice. Had anyone seen it before this week?
Probably not.
No. Okay.
Didn't even know it existed.
Isn't that the greatest?
Yeah.
I had known it existed for a few years because one of my friends in film school mentioned it because I was telling him that like I just watched the Woody Allen movie Alice, and then he started saying, "Oh, it's really weird with all the stop motion animals." I was like, "What?" That didn't Diane Keaton. But then that was how I realized that this movie existed. It was always on the back of my mind as a movie to watch, and I never actually watched it until this week. And like Vince kind of articulated my thoughts where I loved it but didn't like it and loved it at the same time. Like intellectually, I love everything that was going on. In my heart, it did nothing for me. Like, it sparked absolutely no emotion. In some ways, it kind of annoyed me because it felt a little contrived, where I was like, okay, I get it, taxidermy animals, give me more variety with how you're interpreting these characters. And when they did in like the last 20 minutes with the Mad Tea Party and with the cards and everything, I was like, yes, this is it. But too many taxidermied animals, there was that. And I felt absolutely no connection to Alice, which was no fault of the actress, because I think she was great, but like very much just what the director's vision was. And yeah, I'm still processing how I feel about it. And I'll go on that journey for the next hour or so. Alex, what were your initial thoughts?
Well, truth be told, I had a similar experience this time as I did with the Disney film. I'm not quite as sleep deprived as I was then, but I did, for whatever reason, like I didn't even have, well, I guess I had like a long day previously, so like 7.5 hours didn't quite fill me up to where I should have. So
Good.
So I had a pretty productive and full day, like first half of my day, and then I sat down, around 4:30 to watch this movie, and then I just started crashing. So I got halfway through, and then I took a power nap, and then I kind of, groggily made my way through the second half. So, but yeah, very kind of similar to some of the points you just mentioned. Like I had no emotions watching this movie. It did not engage me emotionally. I felt nothing. I felt neither, fear nor joy nor, anything. And then otherwise though, on the other hand, like I thought it was very similar to the cartoon personally, in the sense that, it was a bunch of nonsense, as I think I summarized last time as well.
Am I to understand that you hadn't seen animated Alice in Wonderland prior to last week?
No. It's just just that last week I was very sleep deprived, and then it was a bunch of nonsense. But I so like my thoughts were kind of whatever, but on the film. But no, I had seen the Disney Alice prior.
Okay.
But like 20 years ago, and so my recollection of the movie was very minimal. But yeah, so like this movie, yeah, a bunch of nonsense. And I felt kind of similar, I guess, to was it maybe Lisa or Jeanette? Lisa, who said that if they knew the language, they would get so much more. Lisa.
Yes.
So yeah, so like I didn't necessarily like I just kind of felt watching it that there were certain, like when she's going down the like whatever makeshift elevator, and we see, I mean, not that that's a big thing, but we see the like three patro or whatever it says, through 2 counts down, like there were a couple of visibly written things that and then I just thought to myself, well, maybe there's some like cultural references here, like the significance. I mean, obviously on one hand, the animal skulls and taxidermy and the weird shit is just weird shit in all cultures or whatever.
Don't swear on my show.
I didn't, but
oh my god.
Yeah, on the other hand, I thought maybe there's something, there'd be elements that, with a better understanding of that culture, there'd be something more referential in terms of the imagery or the, whatever objects and whatnot. But yeah, nonsense. Yeah.
Okay, Lisa.
Yeah, never saw it or knew it existed before today. I mean, I knew when you like said that this was like in the program of Alice, I knew what to expect in terms of a Czech language film, but yeah, didn't really know what I was getting into. I'm on the polar opposite of how you felt, Alex. I was like creeped out by it the entire time. And there's a part of me that was like, oh my God, do I hate this film? I don't know. I just don't think I am the audience for this adaptation of Alice. I was bored, and it's like only 10 minutes longer than the animated one that we watched last week, and that's kind of disappointing because I love a good hour and 25-minute movie, and This just felt like 3 hours to me.
Yeah, well, if I could pull up comments, I would. I'm going to read what Vince said. Vince said, the pacing was crappy. I watched 1.5 speed the whole way through, and I think that was a good decision.
Oh, he's such a smart man.
Yeah. Oh, did you not watch it together?
No, we didn't watch it together. So.
She said that. She made that point already.
Lots of things were happening. Hold on. Oh, I was only able to bring up Happy Wednesday. I thought maybe if I did that, all the other comments would show up. They didn't. Anyway,
yes. So I'm glad Vince and I agree. But I think what makes me appreciate the movie is the thought that this is a interpretation from a person who is in a different part of the world than I am, and understanding like Eastern European politics and Eastern Europe in the 80s makes me appreciate what I watched. Doesn't mean I like it though. We can talk more about how I felt about Alice, but not my favorite Alice.
She was a prop. She didn't do anything.
Yeah, but there is a part of me that like I appreciate how they made use of the characters, even though it was so creepy, like the taxidermy rabbits, the sock Cheshire cat.
Oh no, that was the caterpillar.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant. The caterpillar.
With the teeth.
And then all the flamingos turning into chickens, and all the thimble pillows turning into actual hedgehogs. It was a lot, but I appreciated it. I don't know if I liked it, but yeah, those are my initial thoughts.
All right, Jeanette, opening statement.
So yeah, I didn't know about this movie at all prior to this. And I watched it pretty much all in one sitting. I watched like the last 10 minutes today. I felt like it was terrifying, and I like a lot of very terrifying things, like things that most people find terrifying. And this movie, I had to take breaks during. It was really frightening. It felt like nightmares that I've actually had before, that somebody like extracted out of my brain and put into a movie. I would equate it to like, certain hallucinogenics are milder on your brain than other ones. And I would say this is somewhere between the two. Like mushrooms are very kind to you and acid is not. And I have children, I would say this is somewhere in between. Like it's not okay. Like, I don't know.
Spicy mushroom.
It's surrealism at its best, maybe. Like, I don't know that I've ever seen a more truly surreal movie. I've seen lots of surreal art. I don't know that I've ever seen a more truly surreal movie, like actual film. And I think it's very indicative of the time. If you watch other things of the time that are trying to like be cutting edge in how they film stuff, like even stuff that was literally like at like little videos they used to show at like Epcot, they would have like stop motion of this variety, not with terrifying half skeletal taxidermied creatures with the cheapest googly eyes. Can we talk about how this man did not choose a glass eye? He went with like craft store googly eyes, and I was like, what is this decision?
He spent his whole budget on flooding that room.
Yeah, I don't think the production budget was very high in general.
I thought the same thing. I was like, look how tiny this weird little room is, and they're flooding. I was like, how much?
And he had to buy like 17 of the same desk in different sizes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was blown away. Honestly, I'm so glad I watched it, because I have not been that viscerally touched by a random film that I didn't anticipate watching before now.
Well
said.
Well, at least someone here likes it.
Yeah, we have a somewhat
Again,
of a spectrum.
I don't even know that I would call it liking it, but like if I really want to feel terrified, like Halloween Horror Nights needs to do this house, because if I'm walking through a room, it could be pitch black, and if you have a spotlight on these little skeletal animals going with the freaking click 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 click, Oh my God, it was like, I have a thing with like eye injuries in films, and I feel like that rabbit's teeth gave me the same feeling that like I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
And I feel like in
It
that
was so
haunted house,
bad.
every like sporadically with no warning, the walls just need to light up with the mouth of a little girl whispering to you in Czech.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Pete Crowley.
It was so European because of that. Like that whole like narrator, but it's like just the tight shot of the girl's mouth. I'm like, this can't get any more European than it is right now.
Like I can't back up this statement, but it felt very French New Wave from the little
I
I know
was
and
just
remember.
about to say it felt
like,
very French.
It felt like the Jean-Luc Godard movies I fell asleep while watching in my film studies classes. Like 2 to 3 things I know about her, where someone's whispering in French about coffee and the universe. It's like, what is life? It's like that, but make it Alice in Wonderland. That's what it felt like. So I want to ask, first off, one of the very first things that like Alice's mouth says is like,
Alice said, now you are going to watch a film for children.
What was that about? Do we think the movie's actually for children? What was that choice?
I thought it said right after it, or perhaps. I thought it said, or maybe, or something. Yeah, it said something like that.
Yeah. So why?
Because I guess is it actually for kids? Alice in Wonderland is prior to This Is for Kids, and we're telling you it's not. Like, this is supposed to be the new telling of it.
Did I skip that part?
It's like one of the first narrations.
I had to like rewatch it because I wasn't looking at the subtitles at first, but I don't know. I mean, look, my only takeaway from the tight mouth shot, especially at the beginning, is that the director could have given the poor kid some chapstick. Like,
she had cracked lips.
Yeah, it got progressively better throughout the movie, but like the first shot was like, I was like, your lips or something.
I did not notice.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I would not show a child this movie. This would not be at the top of my list.
No.
Yeah, like I think it's definitely not a movie for children. So I think it's interesting to open it with that, because I think it, in some ways, it lulls you into a false sense of security. I also think it's a comment on previous Alice adaptations, because the little bit of research I did for this just told me that he wanted to make the movie because he was dissatisfied with all previous Alice in Wonderland films, because the director, I'm not going to butcher his name again. The director, Jan
Javankovic,
yeah.
Whatever.
He loves the text, and he has said that he thinks it's one of the greatest like written pieces of modern writing, etc. But he just didn't like any of the previous movies, so he set out to make his own version. And his whole take on it was that previous iterations of Alice in Wonderland on film were making it into a fairy tale with some kind of moral grounding of the differences between right and wrong, and an exploration of that, as opposed to his take, which was, like Jeanette said, a purely surrealistic one, just one where you dive into what it is to be in a dreamlike state where you don't really have any limitations on what you can do or on what's happening around you. So it was interesting reading that. Like, I read that right after I finished watching the movie, and I was so unsettled by the end of it when she said, "Where's the rabbit? I'm going to cut his head off." I was like, this is terrifying.
Yeah, which I figure we're supposed to think she's the queen, right?
Like,
because she fell asleep and she woke up. Yeah. Right.
But yeah, I like just that to me put the movie into a bit of a context, because one thing that I'm halfway between liking and being annoyed by it, the whole narration convention. I thought it was cool at first, and it started to get old like 20 minutes in. And the benefit to it, like I could have done, I guess, without the mouth shots all the time, but I like the element of having her voice all the characters, because it just really, to me, solidified that these are all elements of her imagination, and they are all very much linked to her. So when it got to the end, she was like, "Oh, I want to kill the rabbit." That just hit very differently and very unsettling, and I enjoy being given a new perspective on text that I'm familiar with. So that was interesting. But overall, what's everyone's take on that, on his perspective of Alice not being a fairy tale, but more so being like an exploration of the id, even though that's outdated?
So I would say what I liked about this is I felt like it dived more into, it treated children like people more. Like Alice is a little person. It's not like a child's whimsy. It's like it's just a mind, right?
Welcome
Like
to real
I
life,
don't know,
baby.
I don't know
Top of their
about
head.
you. I don't know about y'all, but like some of the most messed up nightmares I've ever had occurred when I was younger. Like they didn't happen currently. I had some of the most weird nightmares ever when I was a little kid. And so I think like Lewis Carroll's whole philosophy was that children were little humans. They weren't, the only thing they had was more innocence, and that helped them to think more clearly. And so I liked that he embraced that, and in my opinion, he embraced that.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, no, I mean the reason why I like Alice so much is because Alice is like a real kid, in my opinion. Like I said this last week, in terms of like her being smart and intellectual and observant and perseverant. Like, is that even a word? I don't know. Yeah, I think I don't know. I feel like it was me watching a kid play like with their imagination instead of what we saw last week. Like if I had a kid right now in my apartment and they were just like playing, I feel like that's what I would see, like in terms of the movie, like them using things and like pretending like a couch is like a monster or something, and I would see that and be like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't want my movie of Alice in Wonderland to look like that, though. If that makes sense. Like I think aesthetically I thought it was cool for a lot of the effects, but I don't know, it was just yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Alex?
Well, on this guy's sort of vision of what Alice should be or whatever, exploring the id, as you say, the apparently, news to me, outdated id.
I'm pretty sure it's out. I mean, I'm not a psychologist, but I feel like Freud's not fact.
Oh yeah, but Freud was never. Well, I mean, I guess back but by the time we were in school, Freud was not fact. And
yeah, that's why
Freud
it was
like
ever
I fact.
It's kind of disproven, but like the id is still
proof
cool concept.
And yeah, Freud was a writer. He wasn't a scientist, really. But yeah. Anyway, so it's just kind of weird terms. But yeah, no. Yeah, I like I said already, I thought this was similar to the Disney film, and
in what way though?
In the
aside from it being nonsense, like, do you mean?
Well, I'm just going to unpack that a little bit for my point. So, like that, the idea of what we're seeing being closer to if you want, like the nature of dreaming, or what a dream world would be, or what a Wonderland would be. But like back in the other show, I was talking about this idea of like the simplicity of, well, what if what if a bird had a hammer for a head? What would that look like? Here's my take on it. Like, this is the kind of things that a hammerhead bird would do. It might hammer nails. Imagine that. But anyway, so like similar. So yeah, this film I think did similar things in terms of like, what if socks were wood eating worms or whatever, termite worms, and a caterpillar, sure. But originally they were burrowing through.
Oh, those things.
Yeah, they were socks as well.
That made me very uncomfortable.
Yeah. So like so I in that sense of just take and to I think Jeanette's point of take the ordinary world and make it fantastical, like Peter Pan and Alice in Wonderland. Like the movies did the same, like similar things in that regard, in my opinion. They took and they very much play to that, like, here's Alice's regular room, and then you see throughout the movie elements of that regular room and the real regular world. And that's all fiction and all human everything we create is comes from reality, but in this specific sense, I thought, this movie did that same thing of just showing us these fantastical concepts of let's mishmash some things, or what can we imagine, and this is like my take on what it would be like. But what this movie I guess did further than the Disney movie is it tried to like the way it presented the ideas in and of itself was an idea, was a sort of a conceptual lens or a conceptual offering, whereas the Disney Alice was more like, we're going to present to you it's going to look and somewhat maybe feel like a traditional narrative driven movie, even though the actual content isn't really that in a lot of ways, or in some ways. Whereas this movie was like, we're going to show you close-ups of her mouth, and we're going to do all these things to just, put you maybe in some sense, I think, put you in that state of like, what would it be like if you were dreaming this dream? Maybe you would, and maybe you would have these jarring close-ups of chapped, please moisturize your lips, little kid lips, et cetera, et cetera. So,
I mean, I kind of agree with you, Alex. Yeah. I mean, although like, it's just, you win. No, I don't find that like I have ever had dreams. Maybe I'm just stuck on the aesthetic of like the grotesqueness of the movie itself.
Yeah, so many skulls.
Like it like when I dream of a bunny, I've never dreamt of a taxidermy bunny. And I think the aesthetic that the director and the designers, the production designers went for, maybe, I don't know. I think it is definitely like of the place in the world of the time that this was made, that like really flips the narrative and also the aesthetic that a lot of people know Alice in Wonderland to be on its head. Neither good or bad. It's just an observation. But my judgment is I am like terrified. Maybe Alice in Wonderland should be terrifying. I don't know. But it's just so funny. I was hung up on the fact that like last week I was like so obsessed with the White Rabbit and like how cute he was and how just wonderful. Like I love the White Rabbit so much. And like even though he's like this zany character, I feel as an audience member I can like trust him in a way, and like I can rely on him. And in this one I was like, this is what nightmares are made of. His teeth are going to just like come out of the
and he didn't go away. They added more White Rabbit than the story needs.
Exactly. He's always coming back.
And like his only thing to do is look in the screen and go,
yeah.
Well, he also
ate his
brushing
insides.
away the sawdust, and I found that to be the most disturbing.
Which is his blood. Which is blood. So, like, really, you can just think of blood when he's licking his little watch. And
you are like, what you eat. I think that's all that was.
But yeah, it's jarring. It's so jarring. It was a jarring movie.
I think on your point of like the aesthetic elements and the production, I think one thing to potentially keep in mind, we probably can't really explore it too much ourselves, but I briefly on the wiki page of this director, I read that they did a couple of short films, and that they came from a short film sort of background. My point being that it's quite possible that the taxidermy, for example, like was not a result of his creative, like, what exactly do I want? Like, this wasn't a director presumably with an unlimited budget of like whatever he wanted to do, he was going to do. So it might have just been that like the easiest way for him and the most financially, like reliable way or feasible way to do it is he had, maybe there was a garage sale with a bunch of like taxidermy, right?
But why the googly eyes? Why not glass eyes? Like, it's not even
Hey,
that
you
big
said
of a
it.
deal.
You said, have you looked at the
Oh my
margins in
God.
1988 on googly eyes versus glass eyes in the Czech Republic?
I feel like googly eyes add this like weird childlike fantastical element to it,
I guess,
and it also
makes it way creepier to me.
Yeah, it's serving everything everywhere all at once. Like, just put googly eyes on something and it's cute. Put them on a rock and it's nihilism. Like, googly eyes are always the answer.
No, they're not. That's you're referencing that stupid movie, that Everything Everywhere All at Once, and that's
a stupid movie.
No, it was a good
movie.
It's a good movie.
But he's just
so many awards.
It's a good. No, I like the movie too. I'm just saying at that point the movie got dumb. Like the movie didn't get dumb, but there were elements of the movie, like the whole it wasn't nihilistic.
You're like a month and a half. You're a month and a half too late, Alex.
I think I brought up the point.
You weren't even here.
I brought up the point in the discussion.
Were you here for that show?
Yeah.
No, you weren't here.
I wasn't there for the movie, but I was here for the Oscar.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's too little, too late. Alex.
Point is you referenced specifically you paired it with nihilism, which is incorrect.
Nihilism is googly eyes.
No, it's antithetical to googly eyes are antithetical to nihilism.
No, they're not. You just picked a word and you said that it was that to googly eyes. You just picked a word.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
What?
Antithetical means it's thematically opposite of whatever the concept you're comparing.
How are googly eyes?
Because googly eyes represent purpose.
Yeah,
nihilism is the utter meaninglessness of anything.
No, but I think the googly eyes can be two things at the same time. One, it means nothing to put googly eyes on something, but then it also in turn makes it something. Both are true. Both of you are right. But this is not the movie we're talking about.
That's true. That's true. Alice. So with this movie, something that I think was really interesting was the choice to, like last week I said that this movie is just one or two steps away from being a silent film, which I kind of stand by. Like, I think they cut so much of the dialogue and relied very much on visuals. And how did you feel about that choice? I think a lot of the, not joy, but much of the appeal in Alice in Wonderland, I feel, does come from the dialogue and like the nonsensical prose of like, let me ask you this question that makes no sense, but also makes the most sense. And by eliminating that and just leaning into the visual world of Wonderland, or the Wonderland that was created for this film, it gave us a very different experience of the story, I feel. So how did everyone feel about that? Like, I liked it, but didn't like it at the same time. What I like about this movie, which kind of goes hand in hand with what Alex was saying, is that as someone who has made films and wants to continue making them while I'm alive, I find it fascinating to see how creative people can be with limited resources. And so being able to create something that was this ridiculous with more or less everyday items, I thought was creatively like so engaging and fun to watch. Yeah. Just as a normal person watching a movie, I didn't like it. But the creator side of me was so into it, especially like certain choices. Like when she crawled into the desk, my first thought was, okay, this is the equivalent of the rabbit hole because they don't have the means to like have her falling or look like she's falling down a rabbit hole. But then we still got that with the elevator. And the way that the elevator was shot, I found was so engaging just between the editing and like everything came together so fantastically. And it's one of the only times I've watched something and felt almost motion sick watching it the way it came together. And I loved that. So creatively, I felt like getting rid of the dialogue and leaning into the visuals as hard as they did was super exciting to me as a creator. But as a consumer, I was annoyed and I wanted them spewing Lewis Carroll nonsense. So that's me. What everyone else think?
I thought that it made the things that are interesting about Alice in Wonderland better, or at least more, not necessarily better. That's not, but like it brought it to the forefront more. So in continuing, like, related to what I said about how the Disney version is like, let's sort of try to tell you a story that's not really a story, or like, and this movie was like, let's try to give you an experience. Let's forget the story part. We're not even going to try to trick you that there's a story here. We're just going to give you this surreal experience of what this book is. Whereas, like to me, the dialogue in Disney was like one of the elements that, like, I liked the dialogue, but it also was one of the elements that kept, like, was fighting in my head of like, this is this is a regular, like, narrative driven story. No, it's not. Look at all this nonsense. No, but they're talking and they're giving you, like, information and content, and maybe that's gonna, like, be useful later. No, it isn't. It's nonsense. It doesn't mean anything. No, but they keep talking and they keep saying things clearly, so that's sort of my take on it.
I disagree with you, Alex. I appreciate the dialogue and, like, the characters, the distinct characters' voices, because I think there's just poetry in it. Like, I love the nonsense of it, and I think because I've done a lot of musical, like, children's musical adaptations of Alice in Wonderland, and I focus so much on getting these kids to, like, connect with each other through these characters, that I have a soft spot for, like, when Alice talks to the Mad Hatter, or when Alice and the Red Queen are in that relationship. It's important for me as an audience member within this nonsensical world to see these, like, relationships form. And I kind of lost that in this one. And it only focused on the nonsensical journey that Alice is going through in the world, which is fine. But it definitely made me feel like that there was a gap in the movie. There was another part to your question that I, like, had a thought about, but it'll come back to me. But yeah, I missed the dialogue.
Yeah. I mean, that was something I felt last year with the Disney Peter Pan, was I love the original dialogue so much. And the fact that they paraphrased it to be very almost contemporary 1950s American with British accents, that really annoyed me. I didn't so much have that issue with the Disney one last week, which I thought I would, but kind of the total lack of it minus a few key phrases. Yeah, I missed it. And also, what you just said, Lisa, about the characters and the relationships, I think that's so much of the appeal for me with Alice in Wonderland, is seeing the life that's breathed into them from adaptation to adaptation. And there was just such a disconnect, a very intentional disconnect, I feel, with this movie between us and all the characters. And even with Alice, like, I think I mentioned last week that the key to a good Alice in Wonderland movie for me is how much Alice as a character will kind of ground everything. And it's like he was actively working against that.
Yeah.
So I missed the humanity. But next week, just wait. The whole point of next week's movie is, like, let's take all these amazing celebrities and put them into Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, so like a New Year's Eve kind of movie.
Yes.
Celebrities.
Like celebrities that a TV budget could get in 1999.
Oh, okay.
Well, like Whoopi Goldberg's there. So
yeah. I will say, going off your point about the whole relationship stuff, I think another part of me that the reason why I miss it is that I think of kids, and at least in my childhood, like, I had imaginary friends, and, like, they were so stupid, but I remember, like, fully creating, like, their whole, like, personality, and, like, having those conversations. And I just missed it. Imaginary friends are important for kids.
No,
they are. Jeanette, what do you think?
I mean, this adaptation, I enjoyed the surrealism. I got into it. Like, I like that. And I, especially this time period, because, like, I don't know. My school would take us on field trips in the early 90s to, like, the New Orleans Museum of Art. And, like, there were installations of, like, video pieces that looked a little bit like this. Like, it wasn't quite as weird, but, like, just kind of like that weird late 80s, early 90s feel to video. I don't know. It works. And, like, everything felt very visceral. Like, it felt tangible is a better word. And I like, if you're going to have effects, I like practical effects. It gets me. So While I don't know that this would be in a list of adaptations of Alice for me to recommend to everybody. I think if I was thinking more of like weird movies to put on to have on like in the background while you do something else, like I don't like I would put this on. But I don't know. It's weird. Like I say I liked it and it's got a question mark at the end of it because I'm like I definitely did not like it. So yeah, I liked this particular adaptation because it's very different. And I think that we need that because a lot of Alice adaptations can get predictable. So,
yeah, well said. This was definitely not predictable, which kind of leads into the next thing I wanted to ask, which was or is which interpretation or scene surprised you the most? Which character was presented to you and you were like, well, that's not what I was expecting whatsoever? I think we've all kind of touched on the White Rabbit being that. So let's like add a caveat, not the White Rabbit. For me, it was the Queen of Hearts being an actual card, or the whole community of cards, and then them actually having their heads cut off, which I can't say I've seen in any other Alice adaptation. But the other element that was really satisfying to me with that is that I've fallen down like a side of TikTok where there's this really unsettling TikToker. I think she's Australian, where she'll do videos about the fourth dimension and what that is to try to get people to understand it. And she'll equate it to like the third dimension and their relationship with people in 2D. So she'll like draw a little stick figure on her blackboard and say this two-dimensional person has a safe full of gems and I take the gems. She'll never know because she doesn't understand that I can reach into her safe because it's only 2D to me. Like, this is so trippy. So anyway, the entire card court reminded me of that creepy TikTok lady and her lectures on the people in the second dimension. So that was my own little takeaway. Plus, I mean, I know I said we can't talk about the rabbit, but the introduction of the rabbit to me was this complete moment of it's all coming together and I see what you're doing. And as someone who knows Alice in Wonderland, I wasn't expecting this. It's terrifying me, but I love it. But then I lost interest when the damn rabbit wouldn't go away. And then like half the movie was just stupid rabbit. So anyway, the cards, that's my answer. Jeanette.
Most surprising piece that was adapted. It's hard. I think I liked the adaptation, honestly, of her entering Wonderland. That was new and very different. And I felt like the rocky terrain was very surrealism. Like, that's a very surreal landscape to put somebody in. So it really just dove straight into that aesthetic. So yeah, I like the table in the rocky landscape because that's not an introduction to Alice that I've ever experienced before. And the little protractors and compasses and stuff in the drawer, like that was different. All those scenes, anytime she was changing worlds, I liked the way that they did the transitions. Like when she fell in the bucket and all of that. I liked all of that. So those were my favorites.
Lisa?
I agree with you, Jeanette. I really loved the table, like getting into the desk drawer. I thought that was very inventive. I wouldn't say this is my favorite. Maybe it's the most unnerving. But when she shrinks and she becomes the doll.
Oh my God, yeah. And the doll is like the most hideous freaking guy. It's not even a cute doll.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I like squealed in terror. Kept doing it. Oh my God. And then her like going down the river as a doll. And then at that one point where she like is inside the doll and like she comes out.
Oh, the doll.
Oh my God, forget about it. That part really was like, that was the end. I was like,
the moment when you could see her human eyes behind the mask.
Yeah, no.
You know, there's like a whole Clive Barker story. Like there's a short story about like that, about being like inside of like a porcelain doll skin.
I hate
thing.
that.
No, have you guys seen House of Wax?
I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's like House of Wax.
Yeah.
No,
I feel like
don't want to now.
No,
you should. It's a fun movie. It's a fun movie. It's bad.
The one with Paris Hilton, or like, I think
yeah,
the one with Paris Hilton's just fine. It's just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say that's the one thing that. Yeah. That's it.
No, like the doll was a choice. It was a bold choice, and I enjoy
it was a production
choice, I suppose. But I don't know, a few observations or thoughts on that. First off, I remember thinking this doll is a better actress than the kid. Again, not the kid's fault. It's how she was directed. But I was getting more emotion out of that damn doll than I was the kid. And like there were points towards the end when she started to show emotion, and I thought, yeah, why couldn't you have done this the whole movie? Not blaming the actor, blaming the director, because I think she was great. But what was the vision? I don't know. But the reason I liked the doll was because it just totally, it hit home the idea that when she grows and shrinks, she's a different person, which they allude to in the text a lot. It's like, I feel like a totally different person now. And when the physicality of the character is completely different, I think that just makes a lot more sense. So yeah, I liked the choice, but it made me uncomfortable and scared.
Yeah.
Especially if you find that like the transformation in GIF form or in GIF form, whatever your preference for that word is, because you get to see in like slower form the different versions of doll Alice as she shrinks. And yeah, it's scarier. It's scarier when you see it frame by frame.
I'm gonna be looking it up.
Yeah. Alex, how about you?
Well, so one thing that was kind of surprising, just because I was comparing it to the Disney film, was the king. This became like a patriarchal society, seemingly in some sense. Like we still have this queen. The queen was the one running around ordering, commanding heads be removed. But yeah, having like it seemed, the king had the final decision in the case of Alice. Only when he sort of officially declared off of their head. So that was interesting, right? I think that was somewhat surprising. Just the Disney film both like had this very, kind of meek king who he still had his line of like, we have to at least sentence her or whatever, it was in the Disney film. But it's still, you never really got the sense that he had any real authority really, or, certainly not comparable to the Queen's authority. But in this one, I got the sense that the king was the final arbiter, in at least in Alice's case. Yeah. So that was, that was, I guess that'll be my pick.
Well said. So we kind of talked about her, but let's focus on Alice. And how did we feel about this specific Alice, both the actor combined with just how the character is portrayed in the film? Like I've said, I don't care for the directorial choices. I think the actor was perfectly fine, but just the way she was directed didn't really do much justice to the character. But it's also interesting, kind of jumping onto a point that we talked about last week. The age that you cast Alice, in my opinion, totally changes the story. Like when you have it's the same thing with the Wizard of Oz, like Return to Oz versus Judy Garland, Wizard of Oz. If you have someone who's closer to a teenager or like 12 to 13, it feels more like they can take care of themselves. Whereas my mind goes to, you're 5, I'm scared for you. Like you don't realize the danger you're in, but I do. And that's totally the vibe I got from this. Like she was just so unfazed by everything, which I know is very hand in hand with the story, but it totally gave off the impression of like when I'm with my friends with kids and like the kids have no idea of the things that will kill them and they're just running around. Like it was a whole movie
that
of that
scene where she's crawling on her hands and knees over by the glass at the end of the movie, and I'm like,
yeah, you even hear the glass crunch at one point. I think
I was like, oh my gosh, she's like, I mean, get off of your hands and knees, kid. It's driving me crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm fascinated just seeing a much younger Alice, and I think this is the youngest Alice. This is the youngest Alice that we're going to see in the whole marathon. So what are the thoughts on that? Jeanette, let's start with you.
I thought that the kid portrayed kept us in the surrealism. Like you said, that directorially, was that right? I don't know. Like maybe we should have gotten some emotion out of her, because we definitely don't get emotion out of her. And I don't know if that's because we're supposed to believe like because she's a child and it's kind of been beaten out of her. I don't know. But if the emotion had been present, I would enjoy it. Without it, it's just fine. I think it feeds into the theme of the movie. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of a one-note character in this one.
Well said. Lisa, what do you think?
I did not like her. I thought she was a very like cute and beautiful little girl. But yeah, I think she was too young for the type of Alice that I am usually drawn to, like you, Matt. I also I don't know if it was a fully like directorial choice for her, like not having a lot of emotions, because also like like culturally, right? Like how do Czech kids act, right? Like I don't know, right? So maybe that is just like her acting, and it is that she's unfazed. But in an unfazed way where to me as like a Western Canadian in 2023, looking at it as if like, are you okay? Like, are you as the child fully conscious of like what's happening? Not like in like the Disney version where she's like so unfazed and she's like, I can do anything. Like I was just concerned for her mental state the entire movie, because like when she pricks her thumb before going into the Wonderland, she's like, and she just looks in, then she like goes in. I'm like, there's like no registering into her face, like, oh, this is scary, and like, ow, that hurts. Like, getting pricked by one of those does definitely hurt. I've done that many times. So I don't know. It it just seemed like it was like a scary kind of surrealist dream type of Alice that I'm used to, and I didn't particularly like it. I do think that she did kind of look like the doll, which was like good casting, even though the doll not for me. Yeah.
Alex?
Yeah, I think on the one hand, like, I think exactly what like Lisa said in terms of like, she was just like probably just being a good Czech girl, and that's just what what she was doing. Like, my suspicion is that she wasn't really acting; she was just kind of but I think that was intended. My suspicion is also that in this film, we're not necessarily we're not necessarily meant to experience the world through Alice. Like, we're not necessarily trying to see, like, it's more so I feel like the experience is more so look at Alice, look at what she's going through, not emotionally, just like look at the world that she's in. And Alice is almost like, I don't know, she's almost like incidental, like she's just like she's the vehicle, she's the one who's like bringing us with her to these weird situations. But we're less like, as audiences, or audience members, we're less like looking to Alice to tell us how to feel, and we're just kind of looking at the scene with Alice, and that neutrality, that sort of neutrality that the actress has. It seems sort of to fit with the surrealist vibe. It seems sort of like you don't necessarily want, like, of course there is a lot of surrealist material where you like have images and contrasting expressions of sadness or anger or whatever emotion, but having that neutrality is another thing that it can be paired with, that provides another experience to the audience, I think. So I think that in some, my feeling was that was intentional in this case, that it and it was serving that, something like that kind of a purpose. Otherwise, I thought that personally, I thought in a lot of, I kind of felt similar to the way I felt in the Disney film, where there were some elements of the character that I thought were accurate in terms of how I perceive children to typically be. And then there were, although in this film, I want to say for the most part, I thought she was like a good kid personally. I thought the one thing that comes to mind where I was like, that's not how a kid would act, is when the mouse was fucking
stop swearing on my show.
Was malleting the like sticks in her head, and she was just like sitting there in the water.
And then he was like boiling rice on top of her head.
And it was like a good 30 seconds until she was like, all right, that's enough. It's like, nah, most unless you're like the 0.001% like kid who has the like self-control to like, and the questionable self-control. It's like, or not the questionable self-control, but like the self-control and the like questionable like decision to exercise it in that moment of like, I'm gonna see what this creature is doing for the next 30 seconds before, you know, deciding I had enough. Like most kids would just, you know, like, get off me or whatever, right? Like that was one where I was like, I don't believe she's sitting in the water, you know.
I actually, I forgot, that was a moment that I really liked and almost.
I didn't dislike this the moment. I just that was just one example in my mind where I was like, I don't believe this kid would do that. Like everything I've seen from her and just kids in general, I was like, I don't believe this one's not believable. But in general, I actually thought like I actually kind of countered like to your example, Lisa, or like the same example. Like I thought that prick moment was actually very believable. I was like, yeah, like I remember me being a ignorant kid, and like so many times I would like hurt myself and then go right back in again and then just, you know, or like taste something and like, ew, this dirt's disgusting. Let's try it again. Maybe it'll be better this time.
Oh yeah, this Alice would like eat everything, which made the drinking and eating make a lot more sense, especially in the elevator when she picked the jar.
Yeah,
and like
she ate
she was ready to eat whatever the gross jelly was until what was in the jar? It was like
a tack.
It was a tack. Right?
Yeah. She didn't eat it, and then she found the tack. Yeah.
Like that's the line.
Yeah. So that whole thing of like, just like how like kids won't really think about like where this like hygiene or whatever, right? Like just like she smells it, tongue thing. Oh, it tastes good. Must be good. You know. So I thought that was cool. But yeah.
Well said. Can't remember what I was gonna ask next. Anyway. Oh, I wasn't gonna ask anything. Oh yeah, no, I was gonna say I feel, just having listened to everything you said, but it was something that you said, Alex. I just feel like this movie was so alienating. That's the word that I would use to describe it. I felt alienated. I felt very alone, which I think, again, is very hand in hand with Alice in Wonderland. Like, Jeanette, this is something I said last week. That is something that's going to stay present with me through all Alice in Wonderland movies, is the realization that comparative to similar stories like Peter Pan or Wizard of Oz, Alice is like alone the entire time, which I think is interesting. Mm-hmm. Like, she doesn't make friends. And in fact, everyone she does meet tries to make her life more difficult in some capacity.
Yeah, I feel like where Peter Pan is the story for people who have siblings, this is the story for only children like you and me.
National Only Child Day.
Yes. I was like, I couldn't believe that was the thing. Yeah, no, I was,
as an only child, I disagree.
We're all only children.
Oh, are we all only children here?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh,
let's go down this rabbit hole. As an only child,
it makes a lot more sense why we gather every week to talk to people on the computer.
Yeah, instead of our family. Yeah.
Oh, I love this. I love it.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
No, that's such an interesting take, though. That, like, Peter Pan being the sibling story, and then this being, oh my gosh, all the comments just showed up on the side. Woo! All right.
Woo!
Yeah. This being the fairy tale for an only child. I love that.
Yeah,
But
we
Lisa,
just want to get lost, and we don't want anybody to tell us what to do, and we're kind of a little awkward and don't really understand social cues. It's okay. Kind of, it works out. You see the people who do have siblings, and you're like, they look dumb. That's Tweedledee. You're like, well, look at these idiots.
I'm always I still to this day I'm always told that I don't come across as an only child, and maybe we found the reason. Like I don't really relate fully to Alice's journey. I don't know. Like
I always have related to Alice's journey. Oh my god.
No, like I relate to like the whole like the journey that she takes.
Yeah.
I pride myself on having like a wild imagination as a kid. But like in terms of like, I don't know, like not feeling like I'm able to read a social situation or being socially awkward. Like I've never felt fully like that. And I don't know.
I also feel like Alice's ability, almost out of necessity, to be able to talk to and relate to adults, because that's all that's there, I feel is very only child.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah. Because she doesn't really encounter anyone that's a kid. They're all adults, and they're all talking to her like, well, I guess like an adult, for lack of a better term, because it's Wonderland and nothing really
Yeah,
exists
I
in the way of
can't remember
maturity.
in the book if she's sitting with her mom or her sister, because I know in a lot of adaptations it's the sister. So she
Yeah.
does have a sister, but she's just treated like
an only child.
Like,
Well, she's
yeah.
very young compared to her sister, who I always think is the mom because she's so much older. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. This is such a coincidence, and it's very interesting.
But also, I feel like it's so appropriate for this movie because she's entertaining herself with what she has available in the room.
Yeah,
It's
and
like-
then when she wakes up in the room alone, that was one scene I was like, that scene. So I guess I could say it here, but like that scene reminded me of Neverending Story. She wakes up in the room and sees the things around her that remind her of what she just envisioned. But this movie kept giving me like glimpses of other movies that I enjoy. And movies that this movie made me think of were Pee Wee Herman, any of the Pee Wee movies. It had vibes of that. Like, this is childlike yet also slightly threatening. Like, it was kind of felt like that. The scenes with like raw meat, like the scene right with the
oh my god,
steak,
when the steak
then,
started to walk.
But then right before the steak, whatever happened right before that,
Something else.
I forget. The new animals with that came marching out.
Weren't the heads from the eggs hatching? Weren't the like skull heads hatching?
Anyway,
from the eggs?
It was very Hellraiser, like super Hellraiser.
Oh yeah, the bread fell and the nails popped out of it.
The nail,
That's
bread. Yeah,
and then Neverending Story, of course, Fantastic Mr. Fox, but like Fantastic Mr. Fox, if like everybody was on something that they shouldn't be on.
Yeah.
And then a little bit of that movie with Salvador Dali and Disney, that movie Dahlia.
Oh, I forget that that's a movie that exists.
Yeah,
they built a hotel based on it.
Yeah, but like that, if you've ever seen it, it really is just like, it's the only other thing that ever felt like really, truly surreal. And I mean, it's literally because Salvador Dali helped make it. But I mean, yeah, this movie had connotations of movies that I love and like just little hints of things. But that scene where she wakes up and like kind of, it's a very Wizard of Oz scene too, right?
Yeah.
Like she sees all the toys around her.
I will say what I loved, the sense like when she got up and she was just like in her room, like looking at all of her stuff. I got a sense of boredom. Maybe it's because like the actor was not acting, but whatever. In that moment I thought it was brilliant though, because it made me miss the sense of being bored. I am not bored at all as an adult, and I wish I had time to like literally just be bored and like be in my imagination more so, and like use the things in my surroundings to feed that. Because I thought that was one of the most brilliant moments in the whole movie, because it's the amalgamation of everything that we just went through in her little room, and she's just realizing she's there with it all. And I think it's so brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I was bored. Yeah.
Does the new Mario movie actually fall into this category of film? I haven't seen it.
The surrealist category? Or which
Vince,
category?
elaborate.
Yeah, we watched the Mario movie last night. It was fun. I don't know if it would fall into it. They don't wake up dreaming at the end. Like
no spoilers. No spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers. I'm going to see it tomorrow.
I'm not spoiling it. It's better. They don't wake up from a dream. It's not a dream.
What? They're dead?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm very against the non-Italian Mario, so I don't care about this movie.
Yeah,
no, that's how I
do realize Mario was never Italian to begin with. He was Japanese.
Well,
I don't think. Wait a minute. What are you saying, Jeanette? Are you saying that the backstory of Mario's character was Japanese originally?
I'm saying that
because in
N64,
Mario has an Italian accent. He goes, "Here we go!" in Mario 64.
He has an American Italian accent, not a real American.
Yeah, whatever, dude. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Mario 64.
No. Mario and Luigi are Italian.
Yeah,
Yes,
they're Italian plumbers. That's their original story.
They are imaginary characters that can't come from a real place. The place they really came from was Japan.
Okay.
Jeanette,
oh my God, that is a terrible argument.
You should have had a Japanese voice actor if we're really going to get down into the nitty-gritty.
I hate
we'll save this for the video game.
Give me a fairy tale thing that you love, Jeanette, and I will ruin it with that argument. All right? Your argument's terrible.
What? You don't love Mario, Alex?
I don't love. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that argument is terrible to take something fictional and then say where it like was originated with the origin of the author is where all the like world comes from or whatever.
Japanese Mario, bring him back. There we go.
Yeah, he never left apparently.
How did we get onto this? Okay. So anyway. Going back to Check Alice movie. Who was this movie made for? I feel like it was just made for the director to watch.
I feel like it's made for art school students in 1989.
Aren't all European films just made for the director?
No. European films have a well, I mean, anyway, a lot of films do, but European films, in my experience, and especially East European films, but just European films in general, they have a consistent way of tapping into, like, for lack of like a better term, like a non-Hollywood sort of perspective of real life. Like, you know, you watch a European romance movie or like rom-comedy or whatever, just a European drama about people falling in love, and you compare that to like an American equivalent, and more often than not, you're going to get something that's you're going to get actors who are not, you know, particularly attractive, like, you know, super attractive. They're not going to get sort of, not say that they're ugly. They're just like normal looking people who are and who live, you know, relatable, stressful lives. And anyway, this is somewhat of a tangent, but what I don't even know what my main point was going to be.
European movies. Who is it made for?
Oh yeah, who is it made for? I think that I think what you were saying in terms of the director's vision is probably true, in the sense that I think this movie was made for fans of the book. I think this movie was made for, and I haven't read the book, but my understanding would be that, you know, his take was that the book was not accurately adapted at that point. And so he wanted to try his hand at adapting the book. So, and if it is, you know, like, having not read the book, I can't attest to how well he does, but it seems to make sense to me that that's what, you know, it's like, hey, that this book is comparably weird, you know, surrealist in its imagery, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So that would be my vote. It was made for people who enjoy the book.
That was nice.
I await the retort.
No,
it doesn't have to be you, Lisa. It could be anybody. You could be you, but it could be anybody.
Or it could be Lisa.
Could be the comments. Oh yeah, no, I just didn't want to put Lisa on the. My point there was not to put you on the spot. You know, just no pressure.
Okay, I'm gonna take it. I know for a fact it was not made for me, and I am okay with that. I was in a directing workshop for theater last week, and the director who was hosting it said this amazing thing that I will always remember from now on, and I'm going to bestow it on everyone here today, is that when a director takes a piece of anything, whether it's an adaptation of a book into theater or like another type of production of theater into another remounting of it, it's a relay race. And it doesn't matter where that other director or that writer in the past had it in their relay race. It just matters where you take it on your own relay race. And I thought that was really beautiful and a really nice way of looking at people's interpretation without judgment, even though I did not like this movie.
I feel like this guy in the relay race took the rod and like turned it into a ball.
Yeah,
it, baked a pie with it inside of it,
kind of ruined the whole race. Really,
like I don't feel like it's any longer. Yeah, like the race is now. He mailed it to France.
He went sideways. Everybody else was running.
I feel like other interpretations of it have continued the race.
Yeah,
he turned into a triathlon. He's swimming.
Yeah, he went out into the parking lot, got into his little Volkswagen, and then it broke down on the side of the road. Like but that's
called AAA. They didn't pick up. Had to get creative.
Yeah,
it's a journey.
Yeah, it's still his journey, and I think that's beautiful. And I also do think it is a great movie for people because, like, I don't know, I need to talk to some of my Eastern European friends about this movie who've seen this because maybe they loved it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know, like, if you're a kid in that part of the world, like, what came out in 1988? Well, okay, like, Little Mermaid came out here in 1989. The Land Before Time, Never-Ending Story. We're going to talk about that. All those things came out. Like, yeah, like, if you grow up over there in that part of the world, is this something you watch when you're 6 years old, when you're staying home from school sick? I don't know.
Well, the movie tells us it's for kids.
It's not.
I swear she says, like, or is it? Like, something like that.
I believe that.
Because, yeah.
So, there it is. I also discovered that this director made a Dr. Faustus movie, which fascinates me, and I want to see now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This is the Jabberwocky one.
Oh, yeah, the Jabberwocky.
Jabberwocky one.
I think it's one of his short films, like pre.
It's got to be terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's anything like this.
Yeah. We love a Jabberwocky movie. Even though, like, what is a Jabberwocky? Jabberwocky never actually shows up, from what I can suss
I thought it was a Jabberwock.
I think they're the same.
It might be.
And
maybe I'm
called Jabberwocky.
being racist.
I don't know.
Jabberwocky. Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, let's play the game.
What's the game?
Wait.
What? Did you say wait,
I
Alex?
wanted to ask an interesting question.
Okay, you can ask.
If anybody had any thoughts, but like I was curious by the fact that the rabbit kept his pocket watch in his body when he had perfectly good pockets that he could have pulled the pocket watch out of. Why do we think the director chose to have him constantly pull out the watch and eat himself and polish it and stuff?
I think it was part of the convention of being able to just have his sawdust blood constantly coming out of him. And I think it was like another way to hammer home the idea that this is not a bunny. This is a taxidermied bunny in the real world that has had life breathed back into it. So he's working with what he's got, which is himself.
Yeah. I
have a very important PSA. Now, I don't know what is the good type of bedding for pet rabbits, but I, for the love of God, hope that if the bedding that was inside of him was pine bedding, I hope he did not harm any hamsters on the set because that is not good for hamsters.
Oh.
Yeah.
There were hamsters?
Well, I'm just saying, like, there's rats. I mean, there's like fake rats, like the dormouse and stuff. Anyway, yeah. Don't use. And there were hedgehogs, were they not?
I don't know.
Tamatoe.
That's not. Respect the hedgehog.
Okay. They're rodents that can hurt me if I pet them. It's all the same.
Well, no, porcupines aren't hedgehogs.
Well,
hedgehogs
in my mind, they are.
I mean, they might bite you, I guess. Sure.
In my mind, they are.
But I might
Dogs,
bite you
wolves, same thing.
Porcupines are big and they have huge spikes. These guys were hedgehogs.
Yeah, they're like
what are you talking about? Huge porcupine spikes. I'll crush a porcupine.
You could run over a porcupine with a car.
Yeah.
Whoa, jeez.
One time on a trip back from Algonquin Park, Vince and I saw 5 dead porcupines on the road. It was wild.
That's very sad.
We have them in Canada in the wild?
Yeah.
Huh.
The more you know.
Canada's huge, Matt.
I'm aware. I just didn't think we had porcupines.
I believe it.
Okay.
They gotta live somewhere.
Yeah, it's true. They do. I thought they lived like in America. I thought they were like armadillos. They were south. They were southern.
No, desert. They're not desert rats.
Well,
those are armadillos.
Yeah, that's true. Those are. So anyway, yeah, that's why I think he's keeping the watch inside his little rabbit belly was just as a device, so that the director could continually be uncomfortable while he reaches into his guts to pull out the watch.
Exactly.
Just like
I thought it was the sands of time pouring out to show us that every time you check time, you lose time to check time, and the fleeting nature of existence and reality, and we're all doomed, and we might as well eat ourselves.
Remind me to never get high with you, Alex.
I was gonna say, Alex took the mushrooms that I
can't.
desperately needed when I was watching this movie.
Yeah.
If I ever whip out a joint in front of you, Alex, be like, please put that back for your own sanity.
All right.
Alex, are you ready for the game?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So does anyone speak Czech here?
No.
Nope.
Billy Kralik.
Billy Kralik.
Billy
Kralik. Billy Kralik.
Oh my.
So I am going to put. I've translated 10 Alice in Wonderland characters into Czech. I'm going to put their names on the screen. You have to tell me what the character is. I believe all but one were in this movie.
Oh, I thought we were going to play check or cheese. Like, is it a Czech word or is it cheese?
Oh, you know what I should have done? I should have done Czech or IKEA. Is this an Alice in Wonderland character in Czech, or is it an IKEA dresser? But I didn't. And I also feel like that would have been culturally insensitive. But
A little bit.
A little bit, because Sweden and Czech are different. Yeah.
But so anyway, that's what the game is. Here we go. This is the first one.
I feel like I should know this.
Wait, what are we supposed to answer here?
You just have to tell me, translate which Alice in Wonderland character this
okay.
is in English.
Okay. Ready.
And you are more than welcome to try to pronounce it. There we go.
Billy Kralik.
Hold on. Hold on. Okay.
Okay. Answers, please. In 3, 2, 1. Yes, we were looking for White Rabbit. Very good. They get harder. All right. Next, this.
Sileni Kloboknik.
Selene
Kloboknik. Yeah. Oh, I think that sounds familiar.
Well, she probably said all of these things at one point in the movie. Except for one of them. One of them is a character. Well, how about I don't want to give too many hints. And also the one that's not in this movie is probably the easiest to translate. So we'll get there. Okay. Answers, please.
Well, hold on, dude.
Okay.
All right.
3, 2, 1. Mad Hatter, Red Queen. Mad Hatter is correct.
Dang.
It says Selene. It sounded like silly.
Like silly.
That was the giveaway.
I just thought I remembered it vaguely, so she said it more often. Because I don't think she said Red Queen at least not as often as the Mad Hatter. But
right.
Red Queen did pop into my mind as well. I was like, is it Red Queen?
Next.
Pocho Zajic.
Yes. I don't know what that is.
I'm apologizing to all of our Czech viewers.
Yeah, I'm not doing good.
Pocho Zajic. Yes.
Pocho Zajic.
Has anyone played the game where you go to IKEA and try to pronounce everything?
Lisa has.
It's fun. And then you reward yourself with meatballs, even if you do.
Yes. Alex, we should go to IKEA whenever I'm in Burlington next.
Milk. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
That's the point.
Pocho Zajic.
There's a musicality to how the little kid said all those words.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Answers in 3, 2, 1. Caterpillar. We were looking for March Hare.
Sweet.
Well done. All right. Next. Boom.
Husenka.
Martha, how have you gotten all of these? Does my mom secretly speak Czech? Or are you guessing? Or are you Googling? No, you can't Google these. They have characters that are hard to get on regular keypads. I feel like my mother speaks Czech and she didn't tell me.
Just hasn't mentioned.
Yes. Okay, this one. What is it? Let's see our answers. 3, 2, 1. Lisa has chips. I want chips. Bill, caterpillar. What'd you say? Dormouse. One of you's right. It's the caterpillar.
Oh, I got it.
Next. Boom.
Kralova. Srtkova Kralova. Srtkova Kralovna.
Okay.
Kralovna. What other characters are in this movie?
Yeah. Can we go?
Srtkova Kralovna. Languages that have 3 consonants together really send me for a loop.
Oh, happy too. Answers in 3, 2, 1. Red Queen, pig. We were looking for Queen of Hearts.
Damn. Okay.
Good job, Martha.
Wait a minute. So I lose?
Yeah. Wait, no.
Oh, okay.
No, you got. Well, you said Red Queen.
I said Red Queen.
Yeah, I know. I know your heart was in the right place, though. If I wanted to be I gave you the point, but if I wanted to be pedantic, they're technically different characters.
There's a
they are, and I said Queen of Hearts. So.
Yeah, exactly. Well, again,
she's not
Alice
in the movie.
she's not. Alice through the Looking Glass introduces us to the chess characters. So there's a red queen and a white queen because they're chess pieces. The Queen of Hearts is in the world of the cards.
Why isn't she a black queen though?
Because they're red and white.
Racism.
Oh, racism.
Yeah.
I was gonna say probably because Lewis Carroll was racist.
Even though,
If Lewis Carroll was racist, wouldn't he have been racist? Yeah. I don't know, but yeah, red queen, white queen. It's a whole thing. Next.
Srki.
Sounds like you're saying crowd turkey.
I thought it sounded like saying crawl skirtky. I don't know what skirtky is.
Answers, please. 3, 2, 1. Flamingo King. It's the King of Hearts.
It's got that SRD, baby.
How are you guys getting this?
Just the SRD. That's what my bet was.
Smart. I think also the logic of Matt probably Googled King of Hearts right after Queen of Hearts.
Yeah, he paired the caterpillar with the hare with the hatter.
I am remembering what she said. I don't remember so much the actual spelling, but I am remembering what she.
Okay, next.
No.
Oh.
Cheshire Coca.
What could that be? What could that be?
Am I stupid, or was there a Cheshire cat in this one?
Well, there was that weasel thing. There was that weasel.
Oh, yeah. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So Nola watched part of this movie with me, and that was part of it. She watched potentially the weirdest part with me.
Oh.
And she asked me, she goes, "Why is there no music in this movie? Like, not even just singing music, but background, nothing." I was like, yeah, no, not art house movie in the 80s. You're not going to get that. Because they want you to sleep.
Yeah, you don't
and then that thing, she was like, "Why does it have no bones?" The Cheshire cat, weird mink. Was it a mink? Yeah, I think it was a mink. I don't remember
this part. When was there a mink?
Yeah.
Or a weasel?
Wait, is a mink an animal?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's where the coats come from.
Well, it's just weird.
It was in there. It had this weird scene. What was it? I don't know. Was it going in and out of teacups or something? I don't know what
it was. Cleaning. It was cleaning up.
Yeah.
It was mixing. Yeah.
I don't remember that. Maybe I've looked it up. All right. Who do we think this is? Yeah, it's the Cheshire Cat.
Yes.
So glad.
You all got it. That was the character that I said wasn't in the movie, but apparently he might have been a weasel. So there we are. This thing.
Surkovka. Oh, that's another Surd, but it's not the king or queen. Surkovka.
What's left?
I don't know. We already did the rabbit. What other characters are there?
Yeah, this was when I was scraping the bottom of the barrel for characters. So
Also, I was a little disappointed there was no like walrus in the carpenter business.
I know.
Oh yeah, oyster.
But that's through the looking glass.
That is, yeah, I forget. That's my favorite is when people just mix the two because I just like to see all of it.
All of it together, yeah, that's fair. Because then we get the Tweedles.
Mm-hmm.
Love the Tweedles.
Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
Exactly, and the walrus and the carpenter and Humpty Dumpty. Yeah. Plus the Red Queen and the White Queen. So good. I love Through the Looking Glass. It's so good.
I've never seen it.
Well, what a shame. All right, answers, please. Jack, card. What would you write, Lisa?
Like Joker?
Jokes?
Jex? Jeckis?
Jack.
Yeah.
Jack.
No,
So it
like
says
me?
Jack?
Yeah.
Okay, well, yes, we were looking for Jack of Hearts.
Woo!
There we go.
Woohoo.
Next. Frase.
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 A prase.
Frase.
It's a mia Mario. I prase you. I come from Italia. Not the Japan, not Nippon. All right.
Frase.
I'm impressed you know the right name for Japan.
I know, I was about to say it. No.
I taught you that, actually. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. We were in a car on the way to Winterfest at Wonderland. Then I said, Japan is not called Japan. Then you started yelling. You were like, what is it? I was like,
that's called trying to entertain myself. And not a revelation of my ignorance. It was me trying to.
No, then your friend Zach specified the full history of it.
Yeah. So what does that have to do with?
Off with their heads.
Yeah, exactly.
I taught you. That's the point.
Here's my answer.
Oh, what is it?
What even? Oh, I didn't even.
Flamingo. Alex, answer please.
Hedgehog.
Right.
No, we were looking for pig.
Oh, damn it.
Frase.
And finally,
Zabiposo.
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 I also just realized I didn't drop the answer for the bonus question in the conversation like I was planning to do subliminally. So, good luck.
So, good luck. Zabiposo. We're out of characters, aren't we?
No. But again, scraping the bottom of the barrel here. This is a character that's in
Jack
the book.
was one of them. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Answer 3, 2, 1. Dormouse, Bill, Chicken. We were looking for Frog Messenger.
Oh, that toad that eats the flies.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a messenger. It wasn't a frog that brought the letter. It was a weird fish thing.
No, the fish thing accepted it.
No, the fish thing came in. The frog opened the door.
No, the frog brought it to the fish thing.
No, you guys are misremembering.
No, we're not.
Okay. Tech guys, bring it up.
Brought it to the other fish thing.
Yeah. No,
Look,
the
I'll
fish
call
thing
you.
came in.
I'll call you when I want to know if the fish is Italian or not. Okay.
Oh, you know what?
Calm down.
You know what? I'm gonna pull up the movie right now. It's already on. I'm gonna roast you all.
You've been
in just a
Alex.
moment.
It's too late. You've been boom roasted.
It's not too late. I'm bringing it up.
Here we
keeping it
go.
alive with my voice.
Jeanette has 7 points.
Voice.
Lisa has 4 points.
You can't silence. Oh my God! Why is this video loading?
Alex has 6 points. So, how many points would everyone like to wager?
All of it.
All of them.
All of them.
Alex is saying something, but we can't hear what he's saying.
When he said I can't silence him, that was literally him challenging me.
Oh.
I want to only wager 3.
Ooh.
Yeah.
This is a democracy. I have power too. All right. Let me just.
Silence them again.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So Lisa wagered 3. Jeanette, are you still wagering all 7?
Yes, I'll wait.
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
wait
gonna
for
win.
7.
Alex, how many points are you wagering?
All of your points.
Okay.
All of your precious points. Okay, I'm at the house. Oh, what's happening, folks? Oh wait, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think you are.
What are you doing, Alex?
I'm
He liked the movie
defending
so
my
much
good.
he couldn't
I'm
wait to
defending
watch
my
it
good
again.
name. So let's watch it together. All right. So she's
Okay.
going around the house.
Yeah.
The
So
fish.
I interpreted this next shot as coming from not the house door, but from where because she looks away from the house.
Yeah.
So she look at the big door.
Yeah.
And then the big door opens, and the fish thing pops
Fish
out.
thing, yeah.
That's a
All
frog.
right, so hold on.
No.
That's not a look, fish thing with the message goes to the little door. Okay, I've won, right? We can admit that I'm the winner.
No, I want to see the
I
other
get all the points.
No, the
You'll
other
see
thing's a frog, though.
Yeah, the other thing's a frog.
No.
Yeah, comes out of the little
the
house.
other fish thing.
No, it's a frog. I mean, a frog's kind of a fish thing. It's a
Amphibious.
Amphibious creature.
yeah. There.
Yeah,
All right.
it's a frog.
All right.
Terrifies
All the
me.
points. You guys bet all your points. You lose. I win.
That wasn't
Let's
the
go.
question.
Give me the
That was-
points. All right.
God.
All right.
Well, none of you said frog. It was the frog. Okay.
All right.
So, hold on, I'm typing it right now. So, in English, the title of the movie is Alice.
I already know
That's
the
not-
answer to this.
Shh, well, then you'll get the points.
All right.
Here we go.
But probably they know too.
No, hold on.
Oh, wait, I forgot it though. I forgot the
Okay,
answer.
good. So, in English, it's just called Alice, but that's not its title in Czech. In Czech, its title is this. What does that translate to in English?
All right. I got my answer.
I don't know. Hold on. I need to think. Can I get 10 seconds on the clock?
Oh, yeah. Take as much time as you need.
It's
Can't
interesting.
believe I
I
mixed
know
up a
what that
frog and a
means.
fish.
I know what that means in a different language.
Alenki.
One of the words. No, the other.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Well, that's useful. That's useful. Not a Lenki, but the other word.
Yeah, but I don't think it is.
It may be. There are words, even though the languages I know are not Slavic, there are words that relate
Yeah,
to.
but I don't think it would make any sense because
Now, there is an
This title doesn't
missing.
necessarily make
in this
sense.
movie.
There's an accent missing over the
Oh,
E.
yeah.
The E is supposed to have one of these.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If that affects anyone's answer. Is that what it is? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. Everyone else ready?
Okay.
Okay. Let's go one at a time. Lisa, you go first. We have
Journey of Alice.
Journey of Alice. Okay. Alex. Something from Alice. Okay. Jeanette.
Any sense?
I wrote Alice and the Mirror or the Mirror and Alice.
One of you has it. It's something from Alice. Did you cheat, Alex?
I didn't cheat. I after I watched the movie, I told you I looked at the director and I saw that tidbit.
Yeah, the title is
Wiki
something
page.
from Alice.
From Alice. I'm wondering.
In fact,
what-
actually, no. Sorry to interrupt you, Lisa, but actually in the description of the movie, it says that.
The subtitles, yeah.
Okay, well,
yeah.
I'm too bored out of my mind to read it. I'm wondering what like the actual translation is because that must be like a direct translation. But I wonder what like
Oh,
Czech
Czech
meaning of
English.
something of from Alice means.
I think it means probably something similar. It's like something. Here's something from Alice.
Google Translate just said something from Alice.
No. But Lisa's trying to say like there might
Oh.
be something either
Like-
cultural or
Yeah.
some more embedded meaning in that phrase of
Yeah,
like
like there's a
we
lot of like, words or
Yeah.
phrases in other languages that don't have a direct translation to English.
yeah.
Try our best with like, oh yes, it's like
Yeah.
this, but it's not really.
Yeah. That's probably it is. It's like probably similar to something like
Yeah.
like something being created by Alice or something
Yeah.
like that. It's like a
So-
creation from Alex or Alice rather.
Oh
Something
yeah. So what do we think that title
we don't know.
means? For lack of a better question, like why would it be called something from Alice or something equated to that idea?
I think maybe so you don't get the expectation that it's a traditional Alice story. Like this is like almost kind of like and now for something completely different, you know, like something meaning not a thing that you're used to.
One thing that I think is that, or that comes to my mind, is that as opposed to a title like Alice in Wonderland, this title definitely, or in my mind, clearly references the fact that Wonderland comes from Alice. Like it's her creation, her daydream. So like it's as opposed to Alice visiting some external place, something from Alice is like kind of telling us that no, what you're seeing and what Alice experiences is all in her head. It's all in her imagination. She's not visiting anywhere. She's just staying in her room.
Yeah, like here's the thing out of her brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there it is. That was something.
That was
from
something.
Alice. That was something.
That.
All right. So closing thoughts. Closing thoughts on the movie. We'll start with Lisa.
Oh, we didn't talk about the Mad Hatter.
Oh, let's talk.
Yeah,
about
or the hair.
Or the hair. The hair was weird with the eyes, but whatever. I mean, everything was weird.
I'll allow.
I will allow. I really liked that they cast Bradley Cooper looking like Jesus Christ as a puppet as the Mad Hatter.
Interesting take. Interesting.
I just thought it looked like Abraham Lincoln, but okay.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, no, I was like, oh, this is Bradley Cooper playing Jesus Christ as a puppet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which like tracks with the Mad Hatter kind of look, so it's fine.
Yeah,
I liked when the Mad Hatter
getting their heads cut off was like the most
that was
random.
Yeah,
that was one scene Nola watched with me, and she goes, "Why did they do that?" Like she paused for a second. She was, wait, why did they do that? I'm like, I'm not entirely sure.
Well, the Queen commanded. The Queen commanded it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like
off with their heads.
Off with their heads. What are you gonna do?
Snip, snip. Yeah.
Zigzag guy. Who's the zigzag?
Yeah, who's the zigzag guy? See, I enjoyed. There was like one moment where they took the Alice mouth close-up convention and almost did it with the Hatter puppet, which I thought was hilarious. Like he said something that got really close up into the frame, and it was like the movie was almost parodying itself with the Hatter.
Yeah.
I didn't know why, but I liked it.
Yeah.
There we go. Any other closing thoughts or unaddressed items from this movie?
There was, I thought, like it was pretty, like notable. Something that stood out to me, I guess, was the caterpillar eye sewing thing. That was kind of
sleep.
Yeah, like the caterpillar. Yeah, it was. That was just interesting. Just like
I was sad we didn't see it close fully.
Well,
yeah,
what do you mean?
Pull it, like
yeah,
oh yeah, it was sewn like a patch or whatever. They didn't actually sew it shut. Yeah. But that was interesting. It was like if I'm not mistaken, it was like the only time a sort of like inanimate object was moving on its own in quite that way. Like there were obviously the drawer opened a number of times and like spat things out or lowered the ladder, but like seeing just this floating needle kind of, because we had the rabbit sew itself up before.
Right.
So that was an interesting, for some reason to me, I was kind of like somewhat mesmerized, and it actually kept going. So you saw it, right? You saw it going, like initiate the sewing, and then like some time passed, and then like it had a final moment where we still saw it sewing, and you might have even seen it in like a background shot too. Like it was an interesting kind of thing, I thought. And I'm curious, like it was one of those things I was like,
wow. I was just happy the caterpillar sequence was over.
Yeah, no, I liked. I thought the caterpillar sequence was so short. Like
no, it was too long.
No,
it was too much
short.
of that. No,
it bothered me that the socks didn't even look clean.
The socks were cool. Yeah, but, I mean,
Lisa's on the wrong side. Hold on.
Thanks.
There we go.
Sorry about that. What were you talking about? The socks? How dirty they were?
Yeah, Jeanette mentioned that.
It reminded me of like post Berlin Wall breaking down, but still like I don't know.
Yeah. No,
I just wanted that.
That's what socks look like in the 80s and Czechland. The
creepy dune-like sandworm socks. Nope.
Caterpillar. They were creepy. They were cute.
What?
And she killed them.
Good.
And then she breathed life back into them. They were cute. They were just little socks. They were guys. They were socks. They didn't even have.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were little
So
baby.
weird.
They were little,
I think anybody who has a fear of like holes, like tiny holes together, which is an actual fear.
Trichophobia.
Do we know?
Yeah.
So wait a minute. Hold on. So like those like little buttons with like the 4 holes for sewing. Are those scary to those people?
Depends on like the level of trypophobia, but
Yeah.
Or like are pores scary?
Yeah. Pores scary. Locusts.
Stop
scary.
saying it.
Sorry. Colanders can be scary.
Oh,
yeah,
I'm okay with
that's unfortunately I don't want to offend anybody, but that's very funny to me. Like I feel like if I met somebody with that fear,
I have
that fear.
You have that fear?
Isn't it more of like a sensation of looking at those things that like is jarring?
I'm more unsettled by it when it's naturally occurring, like a colander I'm okay with.
Yeah.
But if it's nature making a bunch of little holes, I'm like, no.
Like a leaf that
like
has like
honeycomb?
a bunch of...
Yeah,
honeycomb I'm kind of okay with, actually.
Maybe
I don't know why.
Maybe it's the inconsistency of sizes.
That could be it. Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway.
I was like, maybe I'll Google it. Then I remember the last time I did that, it was not good. So. No. Wait. How do you spell it?
What?
Trichophobia, is that?
Is it trichophobia?
Oh, tripo. Version. Yeah, tripophobia. So if anyone wants to look it up, tripophobia is apparently how you pronounce it. Here we go. I'll put it into give it a banner. Add banner. That's what you're Googling. If you do a Google image search on that, see if you're triggered. I'm not going to, because I will be.
Okay, I'm going to look it up right now.
Yeah, look it up right now. That actually, I feel like for me, Google image searching that gives me the same visceral reaction that parts of this movie gave me.
Yeah.
What are you laughing at?
Just the images I'm seeing.
Wait, tripophobia.
I won't show them because triggering, but yeah, that's very ridiculous to me. Like it's like the images themselves are. Like,
actually, I love the movie Holes. Holes is such a good movie.
Okay.
And no, it does not.
This flower is like terrifying.
Oh yeah. So anyway, anything else about this movie and not tripophobia that we want to talk about?
Okay.
I understand.
I'd love to see something else from this director, and I'd love to see other things from this time period, like in this vein, you know?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. There and like other like surrealist sort of like films and probably that came out.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I'd love to know if that was a whole movement at that time.
Yeah.
You know, I definitely want to check out his other work, specifically Faustus, because I want to see what he does with that. And I think it's more text-based. Like I don't know why I'm making that assumption.
Like more dialogue in it, or
yeah, but then again, I have no grounds for assuming that. It could very well be just like this, where it's all visually driven. But I don't know, somehow I feel like for Dr. Faustus, you need some talking between the doctor and the devil thing that he summons. So yeah, I want to see what he does when he's dealing with creatures from literal hell, because that's pretty well what he gave us anyway with this movie. So yeah.
After watching this film, I am determined to find a European movie that I like.
Ooh.
I feel like
Dreamers.
What's Dreamers?
It's a French movie. It's got Michael Pitt in it.
Nice.
What about Let the Right One In? Like, how are you with like vampire movies?
I love vampires.
Oh, then I definitely recommend Let the Right One In. Have you seen? There's the American version, which is what Let Me In.
Let Me In with
Chloe...
girl who's like Chloe, Carrie, new Carrie.
Yeah, the girl from
Chloe Grace Moretz.
Yeah.
Is this the 2008 version?
I think that's the remake.
I think that's the remake. But it should be let the right one in. There should just be one version. So if it's titled Let the Right One In, and it's
the right one in.
It's sweet. I think it's Swedish.
Yeah, 2008 is the
European
one, because the American remake was 2010.
Yeah.
And then what did you say?
Dreamers. I believe that's the right name of the movie. But yeah. I mean, I think anybody who's interested in trying something that's out of their comfort zone or a type of movie they've never seen before, or like you're thinking like, I've never seen an artsy movie. I'd like to see an artsy movie. You should watch this.
Well said.
I like that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I've seen Dreamers.
Okay, cool.
I like Dreamers.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Dreamers.
Dreamers is raunchy.
Oh, Ava Green's in it. Isn't that Tim Burton's current girl? Lady Muse?
Oh, is she in that? Gosh.
Yeah, that's her. That's the one. That's her.
Oh, yep.
I feel like there are a lot of these European movies where it's like a woman and then two guys and then they get frisky. Sorry.
Anyway. That's not what Alice was.
But I was gonna say, but not this one.
Not this movie.
It's just one girl who
and a lot of taxidermy.
And a lot of taxidermy.
Okay.
And with that,
wait
join
a minute.
us next week.
One last thing.
What?
My voice. No, I thought I wanted to say the whole like the fact that the one side makes you larger, one side makes you small. How this movie, I thought that was interesting. How it made other things like even though the caterpillar, like it was an interesting thing, right? The caterpillar, I'm pretty sure, said it makes you larger and smaller.
Right.
But when she did it, it was affecting other things. I thought that was interesting, and it posed
like
a question.
Trees, you mean?
Yeah, not just a tree. She used it to make the house bigger.
Oh, my assumption, I felt like she was using it to make herself different sizes, but the other stuff was just growing in relation to her.
No, I can pull it up, but like the house gets, it's the house that changes sizes.
Oh, like I'm aware that the house changes sizes, but I thought it was meant to be a weird, surreal perspective scenario.
Yeah.
Maybe, but like I just interpreted it as, because like she even said, like, that's not what I expected, right? Like that was her comment after the tree thing. But I thought it reminded me of the Matrix sort of, it's not the spoon that bends, it is only yourself line. Where the kid's trying to get Neo to like use, telekinetics to like use his mind to bend the spoon. And because anyway, that's a whole thing to unpack. But long story short, it's this sort of like somewhat poignant commentary on like our attempts as humans to affect the world, the external world, really like there's no point in trying to master affecting things that are outside of yourself, or trying to work so hard to affect things that you can't control, basically. And you're better off just mastering yourself internally, and that will yield the external results that you seek, type thing. But anyway, which is basically what the whole like story of the Matrix is. Like once Neo realizes, who he is, that's when he becomes the one and
I can't believe you're ruining the Matrix for me.
What? Ruining it? What? Anyway,
it ruins itself.
No, that's not possible.
Anyway, you were saying?
Yeah, I was trying to end it. Then Alex had more things to say. Good points, though. Good points. All good things. All good things. Anything else, Alex?
Well, no.
Okay. Well, that's Alice from 1988. It's a movie maybe one day I'll watch again. Actually, probably sooner than later. I was very intrigued by it. I didn't like it, but I want to watch it again. So I don't know what that says about me. Next week, we're watching a very conventional, very delightful Alice in Wonderland live action movie from 1999, made for TV, all-star cast. We have Martin Short as the Mad Hatter, Whoopi Goldberg as the Cheshire Cat, Miranda Richardson as the Queen of Hearts, other amazing people. It's so good. It's
Miranda Richardson.
I love Miranda Richardson. This is the movie that made me love Miranda Richardson. And the tiny kid from Waterworld with Kevin Costner as Alice. So
nice.
There we go. Yeah. And also I believe we're going to be joined by Kristen Zaza, because this is one of her favorite movies, I think, ever, or she really likes it. She really loves it. Oh,
no.
Did that ruin it for you, Lisa?
No, just because I love Kristen. I think she's amazing. But the last time she loved a movie was Peter Pan, and
2003.
Oh no!
Time for the sequel.
I hope I love this one.
That's next week, but next Thursday. It's next Thursday at 9 p.m. instead of Wednesday at 8. So everyone, mark your calendars. See you then. I might just do trivia next Wednesday because I have the night open and I want to do one. So we might do a trivia night. That'll be fun.
Yay,
woo! But stay tuned. If it happens, I'll post it. But until then, people, do your fun sign-offs. We'll start with Lisa.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me on, Matt. You can follow me on Instagram at Lisa_A_Alves, where I post just my life. You can also follow the company that I do theater producing for, at Cahoots Theater. And yeah, you'll see me next week. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hello. So, yeah, you can find me here on Teacup for One. You can find me on We Like Theme Parks. So Thursdays we have new episodes. I did just get back from a trip to Disney, and so I'll be hopefully photo dumping a few things. And this newest episode will be talking about the experiences I've had on Tron, as well as the finale of March Madness. So tune in and find out who won.
Has a restaurant not won yet?
We have it, the winners in the can. You'll have to find out.
It better be sci-fi. That's all I have to say. We'll see.
We shall see.
We shall see. Okay. Bye, Jeanette.
Bye.
Hey, yeah, Alex T-Ty. I'm, I come to hang out, and if you know, if you don't know, check out the evergreen episodes on this channel. Find out all the my life story, all the deets. Yeah, that's how it be. Yeah.
Thank you, Alex. And I also just noticed Morgan is here in the chat. Hello, Morgan. Thank you for joining us. Better late than never. And yeah, Morgan will be with us for the last scheduled episode of the movie marathon, when we talk about the Tim Burton Alice in Wonderland movie from like 2010 probably. But until then, join us next week. As I said, Thursday, we're going to talk about the made-for-TV Alice in Wonderland. And just keep an eye out on the channel, because eventually I'll have a video. Who knows what it'll be about. But until then, my name is Matt, and I have 2 degrees. And this has been the Teacup for One. How do I end this?